Welcome, Swansea wrestling fans. I'm your host, Ben Allison, and you are listening to Wrestling Republic's daily broadcast, your one-stop shop for professional wrestling, insight, news, and reviews on a daily basis. And today is Monday, and you know what that means. It means it's the start of WrestleMania week, the best week in professional wrestling. I am hyped to be here today. It's going to be a stacked show. We're giving our predictions for what I think will be night one of WrestleMania. I've kind of had to do some guesswork, but basically part one of our WrestleMania predictions, with then part two coming out on Wednesday. We're live. It's a Monday. It's going to be a fun show, and I need a fun panel to do it with me. So, co-host of the show, Clark Taylor, how are you doing today?
Dude, I am battling some allergies still, but I am so fired up to be here for the probably maybe night one prediction show. I've never been more excited in my life than anything that probably maybe what the card potentially looks like show. This is going to be awesome. I've got my predictions ready to roll. Let's talk about it, dude.
Absolutely. I mean, if you guys watch both shows this week, we'll definitely cover all the matches because we have the matches. We just don't know what night they're going to be on yet. It's all confusing. They like to leave it to last minute to announce it. We only know the main events. We know those two. But the rest of the card, well, it's kind of anyone's guess. We have Bobby Petito in the comments here today, along with David Marge as well. And he is wondering what the final boss is going to do. Well, I don't know what, but we'll certainly be getting into that on today's show. But also joining us, we have the AEW reviewer for Wrestling Republic. So according to our comment section, he'll be biased towards WWE. How are you, David?
So here it comes, coming at you. So pick it up, yo, you better catch it. The bad boys are back on the block. I've already messed it up. Tip for the top, we won't be stopped. We're new and improved and got the grand groove. Pump it up and raise the roof. It swings like the mighty Thor. You need to call out the Fantastic Four. So pick it up, pump it up. The bad boys are back because we're blowing up the place. Yo, you better catch it. So slamming the punks because I'm coming at you. We're new and improved. Pump it up, just jump. The WWF spells danger. It's 2024 and time for WrestleMania. Oh, WrestleMania. Yeah, this is our life. Open brackets. Pump it up, close bracket.
Go, David, go.
Good afternoon to you as well, David. That's one of the best intros to date on this show. I mean, good luck topping that, Josh. How are you today?
I'm doing great, Ben. Yeah, I don't know how I'm supposed to top that, but WrestleMania week, wow, I am ecstatic to say the least. I, dressing the occasion here. Got my new WrestleMania 40 merch, but man, I'm so excited. Maybe a little bit biased because I'm heading to all the events, but I'm just so excited. I think this is setting up to be one of my favorite shows that we're going to do because we're predicting WrestleMania. It's the greatest show on earth. I'm just so excited to get into it. Let's do it.
Absolutely. No, it truly is. I mean, we spoke about it last week. Yesterday. This is the most exciting time to be a wrestling fan, and this year is no different. I think you guys can just tell how hyped I am this week. We have so much content coming out for you as well this week. It's going to be just a great week, and I said week a lot. So let's move on, and let's just jump straight away into the Women's World Championship picture, because Rhea Ripley has now been champion for a year, but she will be defending against the man Becky Lynch at next week's WrestleMania event. But who will be walking out with that beautiful gold championship? In my opinion, I'm predicting Rhea Ripley. I think this Rhea Ripley reign is going to continue. I think we're going to see Rhea Ripley as champion for a long time to come. But Clark, what about you?
Well, I got to catch my breath a little bit because during David's intro, I jumped the highest I have since middle school, but that's neither here nor there. I got to say, if it's me, you're asking, would I love to see the man Becky Lynch win this one? Yes. Do I think she's going to? Absolutely no. Is this one telegraphed in a way that I feel other matches on the card are? Also no. I do think that there is a chance that Becky goes over, but in my heart of hearts, I believe Ripley goes over, wins this one. She may be the only Judgment Day member to retain a title. I would say, but she
Oh,
may not be the only one to win a title or to
Ooh.
walk home with a title. And that's another factor. Although I kind of hope that doesn't happen either. I think Ripley goes over here, Riptide. It's going to be a banger of a match. Card placement is going to be interesting here. For a long time, I thought it was going to be Jay and Jimmy out of the gates, all but guaranteed, right? Written in stone.
Mm.
This might be a way to open up WrestleMania with an absolute banger, and I would have no issue with this being the opening match of night one.
Absolutely. I mean, Becky Lynch agrees with you. Becky Lynch wants to open the show with Rhea Ripley, and the two would certainly tear the house down. We have David Marge agreeing with us, saying Rhea Ripley is going to be champion for a long while yet, while Bobby Petito also agrees, but then he thinks Rhea Ripley versus Liv Morgan is what to do post WrestleMania. I mean, I'd be down for that, but would you be, David?
I mean, why not? I do think Rhea's going to retain here. I said in the show yesterday that I think this is probably the match I'm most excited for on the Mania card. I think that this really has the potential to steal the show. I think they're going to give it, I suspect, a good 25 minutes, half an hour. And I think it'll be a terrific match. I do think Rhea will retain, and I don't think that's a bad thing by any stretch. I love Becky dearly, and I think what both women need right now is a top, particularly Rhea is that top tier, match of the year contender, and I really think that they could get there. I think this will be a really, really great match. And yeah, where Rhea goes from here, like I said, Liv is great. Loads. The women's division right now is stacked, hugely so, with talent on both brands, and brands can be swapped around. So I mean, who cares about the brand split anymore? So I think no, they don't. This match will be great. I think ultimately the winner will be Rhea Ripley.
Yeah, I will agree with you wholeheartedly on that one, David. I mean, it's currently 3 for Rhea Ripley. Well, if you include the comment section, 5 for Rhea Ripley, 0 for Becky Lynch. Josh, are you going to break the trend?
I'm not. No. I'm not. I gotta go Rhea. I mean, look, everybody loves Becky Lynch. She's great. Everyone's great. But I mean, Rhea, she's just on an absolute tear right now, and I feel like every match she just keeps setting that bar higher. So let's do it again. And this is gonna be one of those matches that I feel like it's gonna steal the show. Not even just night one or night two, whatever night it's on. I think it's gonna steal the entire event. I mean, we just keep seeing these women's matches just hiring the bar at WrestleMania every time. And I think it's just going to happen again. And, we got Rhea and Becky, come on, two of the best going head to head. It's just the best. Yeah, just like you said. And I don't see Rhea losing at this point. I feel like she could hold onto the belt for another year. And I don't think many people would have a problem with it personally. But, we've seen a lot of Becky as a champion. And I'm not saying I don't want to see her again as a champion. I do, of course. But, Rhea just has more of a story, I think, with the Judgment Day. And she's got to stay the leader holding that belt. I think if she loses the belt, I don't know how much of a leader she can continue to be in the dominant faction of the Judgment Day. Does it kind of, bring down that level of dominance that the Judgment Day are holding if, Rhea loses the title? Maybe. But, I got to go Rhea Ripley here. But overall, give this match 25, 30 minutes, and it's going to be a banger.
Absolutely. Now, give these two men time and they will certainly cock. I mean, both of you guys said that this could be match of the night and match of the entire weekend. And I agree. I'm hyped for it as well. It's going to be a fun one, but another one which I am hyped for is the match which you said, Clark, you thought perhaps could open the show. And that is Jay and Jimmy Uso, the twins. We know that these guys, of course, were a tag team in WWE for the longest time. Ever since they debuted, they were together. And then, of course, during the entire Bloodline story last year, we saw them split up. We saw Jey Uso go to Raw, and they were separated. Jimmy stayed with the Bloodline, while Jay separated himself from them. And we, at that time, were all starving, absolutely starving to see these two twins face off in the ring together, but they kept a lot of distance between the two until the last few weeks, and now it's official. Jay, Jimmy, WrestleMania. this is a dream match, not just for us fans, but for those two competitors in the ring. I mean, I think anybody who is a twin would love to wrestle the other one at WrestleMania. I mean, that's just seems like just an absolute dream come true for them. But there are two questions about this. One, which twin will win? Secondly, and maybe more importantly, do people care enough about this match compared to, a few months back? What are your thoughts, Clark?
So I've got a ton of thoughts on this, and the distance is interesting. I think the most electric part of this storyline has been every mention of what it was like in high school, because they were both big football prospects, and they were both popular, but Jimmy was the older bro of the twins, and not the older bro in whatever, it's 20 seconds or whatever it is, right? When it comes to that we're talking about, we're splitting hairs there, but he was the more vocal. He was the voted most likely to succeed. He was the prom king. He was the captain of the football team. They were both successful in football, but he was the captain. I look at other twin athletes. You go to the NBA, you have the Lopez twins. You had Brooke and Robin Lopez, both attended Stanford University, both 7 feet tall, both excellent athletes. Brooke was always the better player. Robin has lasted longer in the NBA. Markeith and Marcus Morris at University of Kansas. Marcus was the superstar, the scorer, the more vocal of the two. Markeith got picked before him in the NBA draft. And I look at those dynamics when it comes to the storytelling of this, and I feel like you add the layer with the 2K ratings the last couple of years. It's 1 point apart, and now it's not. Now it's even more. This is a must-win for Jimmy Uso. This is an absolute must-win. Reestablish that old childhood dynamic where he was the leader of the two brothers. He was the more vocal. He was the more. That's what we're building towards. It's a must win for Jimmy. So I'm picking Jimmy to win, but that doesn't necessarily mean that he will. If it's me though, Jimmy's got to go over here. And this is going to be, speaking of stealing shows, this is the one nobody knows each other better than identical twins.
Yeah.
And this match should be absolutely off the charts and blow for blow all the way. Similar move sets. So a lot of trading shots, which I think is cool and unique to a match like this. It's stuff that if you saw between wrestlers that were not twins might bother you, but it's unique to this one because it's mirror image. And so I can't wait for this one, but I do think it is must-win territory for Jimmy Uso to reestablish everything, especially if they're ever going to tag again.
Yeah, no, I do agree. It kind of has felt like Jimmy's been left behind a little bit. I mean, Jay's been winning these matches. We spoke about it earlier in the year. Well, last year, he's become another tag team champion, and he became the champion with Cody Rhodes. So now he has one more tag reign than Jimmy does as well. If Jay wins, it kind of, Jimmy's buried.
Even more fascinating, let's remember, Jimmy was the one that participated, I believe, if I remember correctly, in WrestleMania 36. When due to the COVID stuff, it was a triple threat tag team match that was a singles match. Yeah. And Jimmy tore his ACL in that match. And then he had to sit out. And that's when Tribal Chief, that's when Main Event Jay, that's when all of this happened. And there's a story to be told there, even though Jimmy is the perceived heel in this one. If you look back to that, it goes back a long way. It goes back a long way. And I'm really, really excited to see what they do with this match. I really also hope there's one more segment along the way.
Yeah.
Hopefully on SmackDown, I would say, is the time to do that.
I do on both, tonight and on Friday.
If there's time on Raw tonight, for sure. For sure. I have no issue with on both. But just at least one more to really nudge us over the edge and remind us how big of a deal this is. That's one of the greatest tag teams in WWE history. They're identical twins, and they're split up, and they're still in the middle of all this bloodline stuff. I'm excited to see it. I'm really excited to see it.
Well, a lot of people are agreeing with Bobby Petito, and that is that perhaps Solo Sikoa could, tag with Jimmy in the future. Maybe he could help Jimmy win, and then they tag together and then win the tag titles. I mean, who knows? That could certainly be a way to do it, and I'd be excited by that as well. But Jimmy's got to do something. Otherwise, he's going to look so inferior in this. And I know maybe the story they want to tell is that Jimmy needs to be put in that position to then turn on Roman Reigns. But I don't know. I don't know indeed. But what I do know is that the next level app is very, very good indeed. And it's very, very useful because there are so many shows WrestleMania weekend, right? We're covering so many of them and it can be overwhelming. But do you know what is also overwhelming? The amount of links on social media nowadays. What's our Twitter? What's our Facebook? What's our Instagram? What's our YouTube? What's our Twitch? It all gets confusing. So you don't need to know any of those links. You just need to know one, and that is our NX Connect link, because it has all our content in one place, all our links all in one place. You can just click them, follow us. It's easy as anything. And I mean, they also do giveaways too. They've just started. I got a little bit of breaking news here. They've just started a new giveaway, which will be announced later this month, but you can enter it right now via our Connect link, where you can enter to win a copy of WWE 2K24 for free. All you need to do is sign up. All you need to do is click the link. nxconnect.me/Wrestling Republic. Scroll to the bottom and you have the opportunity to win on there. It's as simple as anything, isn't it, Clark? Clark isn't very good at technology, and even you know how to do this.
I can do it. Even I can do it. It's easy. I'm the user friendliness is key for me, and I can confirm that our NX Connect link is user friendly. It's really easy to find. Just go do it and click. Enter all the contests too.
And that's nxconnect.me/Wrestling Republic to see all our content across all platforms, all linked in one place. Also, if you're on YouTube, it's linked in the description. If you're on Instagram, it's in our Instagram bio. It's very easy to find. And it's one link for like 10 links. It's so much easier. We have a few comments here. Okay. We have Matt Williams saying main event Jey
This cracked me up because main event was my favorite of the And One mixtape guys back in the day. Street Ball. I don't know. That's probably before your time, guys. But if Matt Williams gets that reference,
comment yet,
you'll crack up. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Our audio listeners are more confused than the people who don't click INX Connect link. Main event is one of the worst nicknames in wrestling of all time. Yeah, maybe we're just too young, Clark. Maybe that's what it is.
I love main event. Best dunker in the And One mixtape. Go watch it. It's ESPN 30 for 30.
I hear so much about ESPN 30 for 30s. I don't think I've ever actually seen one.
Oh my gosh, you'd be obsessed. Don't start watching because you won't stop.
Maybe I'll need to do a watch along. Talking about watch alongs, with another quick announcement. Me and Chaos are actually going to be doing an in-person live watch along for WrestleMania this weekend, which we're going to be live streaming on YouTube and Twitch. So make sure you guys check that out. But now let's move on, because something else which we need to check out is this ladder match at WrestleMania. I, for one, am pumped for it. There are a lot of tag teams in this. There is a tag team or two who I don't think should be in it. I mean, saying no names, but Mr. Dune, and Master Bait, I don't think they deserve to be in this match. I think it should be pretty deadly. I think it's a screw job, and I think Triple H has lost the plot. But the other tag teams in the match is, of course, Finn Balor and Damian Priest, who are defending the tag team championships against DIY, The Miz and R-Truth, The New Day, Austin Theory and Grayson Waller, otherwise known as A-Town Down Under, and then Pete Dunne and Master Bait. I mean, this is going to be a really fun match. That's, exactly what this will be. Ladder matches are always fun, especially when, they're tag team ladder matches. And I'm sure this actually, I think it'll be almost a palate cleanser during the actual WrestleMania show, because there are a lot of one-on-one singles matches, especially ones which don't really have a stipulation. This will really break the show apart a little bit. And for that reason, I'm super, super, super excited for it. But who will walk out as tag team champions? That is the big, big question here. And I'm going to be honest. It really is a tough one, but I'm gonna say, and I'm gonna say DIY. I was gonna say Judgment Day. No, I changed it because when I was about to say it, it didn't feel right. DIY, do it themselves. David, what about you?
Well, I think this was a really interesting match. I love a good ladder match like you, Ben. I love a big multi-man melee. I'm a little bit concerned with just how many people are in this thing.
Yeah.
Because that's a 12-man ladder match, which is a lot of bodies, but a lot of obviously, and I assume that we will see some element of Mysterio, Dominic, and JD, and I don't know whoever else they can find lying about in the back that they can run out and just make it even more hectic. The team that I'm most surprised are not in this are the Creeds. I think the Creeds would have really benefited from being in this. To be honest, I think they benefit being in it more than the New Day would. Sorry, New Day. I love the New Day. They're amazing, and they of course deserve a spot on Mania, so it's difficult. But I think the Creeds, I think they could really use the rub. Unfortunately, I think the least interesting team in this match are going to win it because I think Miz and R-Truth are going to win it because they've drilled. R-Truth's not won a match at Mania. Truth's not had his Mania moment. So this is where he gets his Mania moment. And look, I love R-Truth, right? I love R-Truth. But I feel like I was really invested in this Judgment Day R-Truth angle. And then they kind of just completely let it just simmer through their fingers. And it's gone now. So it's the question of, I always thought the plan was going to be Balor and Priest versus Miz and R-Truth. I thought that was the match we were heading towards at Mania. And then when we didn't do that, and we've thrown all these other teams in, as great as all these other teams are, I can't see it being. I think it'll either be the Judgment Day retain or Miz and R-Truth win. I love DIY. I'd like to see them win it more than Miz and R-Truth. I'd like to see Theory and Waller win it more than Miz and R-Truth. But
any of them.
I mean, I just want Waller to show how great he is because I've not felt it on the main roster, and he was so great in NXT. So show me how brilliant you are. Do one of your elbow drop things from a ladder or something. I don't know, but I do think Miz and R-Truth are going to win it, and I think it'll be a nice moment for R-Truth. But I couldn't care less right now in time about Miz and R-Truth, and it's a shame. So I'm kind of hoping for somebody else, but I think it'll be Miz and R-Truth. And you know what? It's fine.
Oh, no, I do agree with you, David. Well, I don't agree with you. I really am hoping that's not the case. Maybe it is. What you said made a lot of sense. I mean, I also agree that there's probably a bit too many people in this match as well. 10 is a nice number. It could have done with, the couple of Tottenham fans missing out on the match because, well, they're used to missing out on things. So I think we could have cut them. But no, in all seriousness, I do agree. But the one thing you mentioned, R-Truth and Miz versus the Judgment Day, that's kind of the direction we thought it was going in. I'm so glad that's not what they've done. I think they should have told the story better the last few weeks. I agree. But if that was a singles match, I feel like it would be embarrassing to the rest of the tag team division because there's so many great actual tag teams and you're showcasing none of them. Instead, just two thrown together tag teams, I guess, two singles competitors together.
R-Truth, Finn Balor and Damian Priest isn't exactly a thrown together tag team. And I don't think Miz and R-Truth...
For the time being, it is.
They've been teaming together for 2 years, mostly on Raw, but they have been teaming. It's not like Cody and Drew. It's not like they're just found people lying about in catering and went, there you go. In fact, they've been teaming together a damn sight longer than Theory and Waller have. So and Dunn and Bates only been teaming for a month.
Well, they've been teaming for years, realistically.
Yes, but again, Miz and R-Truth were a team at one point. The Awesome Truth.
They were, but they're like 95. They're older than LA Knight. R-Truth is literally, I think, about to turn 95 next month.
Also, the Awesome Truth was mostly rubbish. So I said what I said, and they were good for about a week. So yeah, I think it's a really good lineup of teams, and it'll be a really fun match. Like I said, I feel for the Creeds because I think they've been announced for the Andre. And it's like, I don't think they're going to win the Andre. So, I feel like that they could have used it more than some of the teams in this lineup. But the lineup is still great.
I agree completely. In fact, I did a tweet about that a few weeks ago saying, the Creeds, I think they could be the next top tag team. So why aren't you, spotlighting them in an event like WrestleMania so the more casual audience can get to know them a little bit more? Doesn't make sense. I agree completely with you on that one. But now let's talk about the 107-year-old man himself, LA Knight, because he's facing the 237-year-old man, AJ Styles, he's saying he's going to retire fairly soon. I mean, this is like a fight at a retirement home. I just don't care if I'm joking. In all seriousness, this match I am actually excited for. I'm a big AJ Styles fan. LA Knight gets great reactions, but the criticism of both men in recent times is that their match qualities haven't quite been up to the par that we've seen both of these men compete at in the past. So them together at WrestleMania, will it deliver or will it not? That is the question. Some people are suggesting throwing a stipulation into this match. That's what I want to see. But will we? It remains to be seen. But regardless, this is the start of heel AJ, and I think he needs a win. That's my call. What's yours, Josh?
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. I'm going to get to the stipulation part in a bit because I do have something to say about that, and I agree. But in regards to what you said about the match quality, I do agree. I've been seeing, the internet wrestling community all over Twitter and stuff saying match quality this, that. But you know what? Something that I think has come really good with this is the build we've got, because we have a normal singles match, and I don't think that, at least I didn't expect the build, like how cool of a build we were going to get for this match. I think the build kind of came out of nowhere. I think whenever a wrestler goes to the home of another wrestler and attacks him on his property, like, you're going to get a personal grudge match. We saw it with Triple H and Orton. We saw it with Edge and Cena. I think all those matches that I just listed, like, were about more than just the match itself. It was personal. And that's what this build has got to, especially with like the hidden security guard. And that was a little bit of like because LA Knight was a security guard that one time on WWE. So that kind of went back to that moment, which I thought was cool. A little cool moment for people that realized it. But, I think this build has been really cool for what is really just a normal singles match. And, AJ Styles has gotten like 10 times bigger physically. He is huge. The transformation is unbelievable. He was already in very good shape, but wow, he is, he's gotten bigger. And like you said, he's unlocked this like ruthless personality, and it's going great for him. So now with the stipulation thing, I wish we were getting a stipulation, because I feel like with this type of match where it's gotten really personal, weapons should be involved. I feel like that's kind of a given, honestly. I wouldn't be upset if there was if AJ had like a ref spot, the ref gets knocked down and then AJ hits him with a chair. I think that would be good for, the new ruthless personality, the new heel AJ Styles. I think that'd be something good that could happen. But I do wish, weapons were involved. I think at the personal level that this build has gotten to, there should be weapons involved. He went to the man's home and beat him up on his lawn. Let's get weapons involved. So, but for the prediction overall, I got to go LA Knight winning. I think that he needs to win a lot more than Styles does at this point in his career. I think most people can agree with that. However, it's hard because Styles is now kind of in this new character as a heel. So it could go either way, honestly. But this is his first WrestleMania, LA Knight, which is surprising. But, I hope he doesn't lose. I feel like Styles is in the point where he can get past a loss and continue to create good stories. But LA Knight, if he loses this, I don't know where else he goes, in my opinion. So two great competitors, if given enough time, should be a good match.
Absolutely. No, I do agree with you there. These guys, it has gotten so personal that I think weapons are needed in some capacity. Maybe they do what you said. There's a ref bump, Styles, hits Knight with something. But if that's the case, then that suggests that maybe this will be a multi-match feud.
Potentially.
And I wouldn't mind seeing it end at WrestleMania. I think let's just announce a street fight. Let's announce, no holds barred, anything goes, and let's just see these guys tear the stadium down.
Yeah.
Josh, you're going there. You could see them fighting through the crowd.
Oh my God,
That'd be
fun.
Awesome.
It'd be awesome. Yeah, I'd love to see that. I wish they're doing that, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, if we go off Mania tradition, feuds with Home Invasion should end with a match where people will lose the title if they're disqualified. Thank you,
There you go.
thank you, Triple H and Orton.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh,
Absolute waste of minutes. Thankfully,
Absolutely.
there's no title on the line here, so you can't do that, Stip. I'm sure Trips
Right.
would do it if he could, though.
Honestly, though, I like the idea. You said street fight,
no.
but like a Falls Count Anywhere type thing where you could utilize like maybe the Eagles locker room.
That'd be cool.
That would be really fun. I think just for the Philly crowd, that'd be cool. Like
Right.
there's a lot of stuff you could do with something like that. I
think-
love that idea.
Yeah, I think, to be honest with you, I think we need to go take a little leaf out of Cody Rhodes' old playbook for this match and have a little bit of smoke and mirrors. Because while they're both good wrestlers and they'll have a good match, what will make it stand out on a Mania card, is that LA and I doing halftime heat, of them just doing this whole brawl around the stadium. And 'cause that's one of my favorite matches is Rock and Mankind because it's such nonsense, nonsense wrestling. But it's just the Rock jaw jacking, and I think LA Knight could do the same sort of thing. And Styles is more than capable of it himself.
True.
Just make it a bit of fun, make it something different. Mania always, with the amount of matches Mania has, Mania always needs something different.
You've spoken that into existence, I think. Now we have Matt Williams saying he got to watch James Ellsworth fight some 60-something in the crowd last week, and it was terrible, apparently. Oh, I wish I could see that.
Yeah.
Bobby Petito is suggesting the loser goes to Raw. I mean, that's a
Don't
punishment.
dislike that.
But
That's
no,
punishment.
Loser goes to main event. No,
Yeah.
loser goes to speed.
yes.
Loser goes to speed.
You're limited to 3-minute matches, and these two oldies would still tire themselves out. I'm only joking.
Now you're making fun of me and Matt Williams.
Yeah.
Nobody got my N1 mixtape reference. I'm in that age bracket.
No, you're not in that age bracket.
No.
Close enough.
LA Knight's in his 40s, Clive.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, 40's the new 30.
Well, keep telling yourselves that,
Human
guys.
evolution.
Anyway, let's move on. Let's move on to talk about the Intercontinental Championship picture, because Gunther has had a historic reign and he is defending against Sami Zayn at WrestleMania. They're doing the entire Rocky storyline for it. Sami Zayn really looks like he might do it, but I really hope he doesn't, because I still think Chad Gable needs to be the guy to finish his story and defeat Gunther. So I'm predicting Gunther defeats Sami Zayn at WrestleMania, but I do think it'll be a banger of a bout. Josh, what's your call?
Yeah, any match involving Gunther is always a banger, and same goes for Zayn. Do I think it's going to top last year's Triple Threat? Absolutely not. But, I mean, we're talking about one of the best WrestleMania matches of all time, in my opinion. But anyways, in my opinion, I think Gunther has to win this match. I agree. Look, I love the whole Sami Zayn Rocky storyline. I'm from Philly, seen every Rocky movie, love Rocky. It's a great story to tell. And they're doing the same kind of thing with Cody, of course. But Gunther has to win this match. He has to. I honestly don't even see it going another way. Zayn, of course, he has the hype. He has the crowd around him. But I feel like what's happening with Gable, like you said, Sammy can't be the one to defeat Gunther. It just doesn't make sense. I think if Gable lost the Gauntlet match and then they just retired the story, didn't involve him anymore in it, then okay, maybe Zayn has a shot to win. But they're still involving Gable in the story, even though he's not even in the match. And, I think Gable and Gunther got to go one more time. And I don't know, but maybe they could even main event a pay-per-view with that match later down the road. Just an idea. But how I see it, something maybe I thought about this earlier. Gable comes out in the middle of the match, maybe hits Gunther with a big move when the ref's down, something along the lines. Zayn, haluva kick. Everyone thinks Gunther's down. Gunther kicks out at 2. Gunther comes back like the beast he is, hits like 6 or 7 powerbombs in a row, pins Zayn for a 3 count while staring down Gable. That'd be the perfect picture and perfect continuation of the build between them two, leading to, I think, would be a greater match later down the road at a bigger pay-per-view or something along those lines.
Oh, I would love to see it. And yeah, I agree with you. The fact that Gable has been so heavily involved does hint that, hey, there's a bigger plan here. There's a bigger story. but I am excited for this match. Like you said, it'll be hard for it to top last year's.
Yeah.
I think there's a small chance. I really, really
I
do.
agree. Yeah.
These two, you never know. Chris Leclerc is calling Sammy. He's saying Sammy will end the reign of Gunther.
Always possible.
And I mean, Bobby thinks Gable or Bronson Reed should be the one to defeat the historic reign. I could see both of those, Bobby, as well. But what about you, David? What is your call for this one?
Oh, this is tough. First of all, yes, please. There's a reel of me from months ago when they did their match on Raw, talking about how much it was. I said it was brilliant, but I knew that they had another level in them. This is where we're going to see that other level. Regardless of my thoughts on whether I think this should have been Chad, I personally think it should have been. I will never complain with Gunther versus Sami Zayn. Like, in any capacity, anyone who's looking at this match and complaining, I think they're insane. But I do understand the argument that people to make that it could be Chad. I wonder if Chad's going to cost Sammy the match here. If the whole Mickey thing is, because Chad Gable is very much doing Mickey, he's doing the whole, put him at Brack and all that sort of thing. I wonder if it's just a ruse to get to ringside. Because if I don't get to beat Gunther, no one gets to beat Gunther. Do I want it? Not really. But
I don't.
But I think there's an interesting story there. I just think it would undercut Gable's working man fire. I mean, to be honest, this doesn't really work for any of the Rocky films because the whole point is that he got in Rocky, he got plucked from obscurity and had this massive high-profile match, not a match on Raw. So the Rocky 2 stuff doesn't really work. Rocky 4 would require Chad Gable to die in the ring, and I don't think that's going to happen. So, the Rocky thing's very silly. Also, wrestlers watch other films but Rocky. They do exist. They get mentioned every week.
Rocky's great,
but it's in Philadelphia.
Which is your favorite Rocky?
I know, 4.
Oh, I'm a 3 guy, but I like that. Respect.
Because it's such nonsense that I love it to pieces.
Yeah, me too.
But in all seriousness, this match will be brilliant. I think Gunther will retain. I think there is a chance that Sammy could do it. I just think there are more interesting shouts than Sammy to do it. I'm concerned we could start to get into the Roman Reigns level of people starting to turn on it. I think people already are, perhaps unfairly. The fact that he keeps retaining. I think that there's still more mileage in his run. I think the problem with Roman is that he disappears for 3 months at a time, which you don't get with Gunther. Yeah. He's a weekly presence on television, so I've got no problem with that. But I think I will be happy with either outcome. I think I still really want it to be Gable or Dragunov to be the person to end Gunther's reign. But if it's Sammy, grand. It'll be a brilliant match either way. And it might not top last year's, but it could. This could be the match that everybody talks about because it's Gunther and it's Sami Zayn.
It feels like a common theme running through this card that every match could steal the show. Every match could be match of the night, match of the weekend. I mean, it's stacked. We're being spoiled this year. And like you said, David, this match, yes, please. But Clark, I want to get your thoughts right now. Who do you think is walking out of Philly with the IC title?
Well, the Rocky references inspired me to put on my Apollo Creed beanie. Apollo's the guy. He gets the win at the end of 3. That's why it's my favorite, but I do respect you being a 4 guy, David. This isn't a Rocky scenario here. I think it's the perfect scenario for reverse psychology. If I'm booking this match, we have Sammy blitz him with agility, get all over him early, and be on him because the crowd will pop for all of it. The crowd will love every second of it. And then when it starts to get ugly, Gunther comes back and gets the win. Reverse book this. He's the heel that generally is going to dominate the whole match. You'll have the babyface come back, then he stumps him and beats him. No. Reverse book this one. Have Sammy beat him up the whole time. Get all the little tricks, psychological stuff, all like uses speed, uses agility, all of the different things, uses expertise. And then at the end, Gunther gets the best of him. I think that's the only way that this should go.
Yes. I mean, that's kind of has been every match in Gunther's reign, to be fair. Exactly what you described, where it, they get up on him. You think that maybe there's a chance, and then Gunther ultimately beats them. And I mean, to David's point, I guess, see why people are getting a bit tired. But if you're getting tired, get some more patience.
Gunther.
Because it's a great reign. And again, to David's point, he's there every week and he's having bangers every month or two. Like, more, please. Another couple of years. Why not?
It's Gunther, man. Come on. Like, what are we doing here?
It feels like, and this kind of goes into the Roman thing too, a lot of wrestling fans aren't really aware or acknowledging the fact that we're currently in a time period in wrestling where so much history is being written, and everyone's like, oh, let's just end it.
Here's the other thing to me is, like, to your point, right? And I'm not trying to cut you off there. Like, there's so much history being written outside of Gunther. Yeah, people don't see that. But at the same time, Gunther is in a position where the best story that we can tell about him is somebody that can deal with him on the mat. And that is Chad Gable. That doesn't mean I'm complaining about Sami Zayn. That doesn't mean anything else besides that, right? But there's so much history happening. It's not just Roman and Cody. It's not just all of that stuff. To your point, it's a great time to be a wrestling fan.
It is. It really, really is. And that's why I don't believe any of these people when they come in and they say, hey, whatever, I'm going to stop watching if Roman wins. I don't believe it. I don't, because there's so much great stuff going on. Then I don't know. They've just got to keep, ways and keep telling these stories that keep us invested. Because, listen, I just think people are thinking too short term. And I think it's an issue with fans right now. They aren't seeing the bigger picture. Whereas I think WWE, for the first time in a long time, are looking at it in terms of the bigger picture. And because of that, business is booming for them as well. But hey, fans don't always know what's best. Just look at Manchester United. But we have a comment here. Chris Leclerc saying his heart says Sami Zayn will win, become the new Intercontinental Champion. But hey, Clark, let's just go into the big one, shall we? The match everyone's talking about, everyone has been talking about since it was announced, the biggest tag match in the history of WrestleMania. We have the Bloodline, Roman Reigns, the head of the table, the tribal chief, the WWE undisputed champion, teaming up with the People's Champion, the final boss, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. That, firstly, is a dream come true. But who are they facing? Well, they are facing the American Nightmare 24 hours before he will try and finish his story, and Seth Rollins, who wants to prove once again that he is better than Roman Reigns. It is what he's been trying to prove his entire career in WWE. And this tag match has so much story. And there's so much narrative. They've told it so well. I am hyped. I am hooked. And I cannot wait to Saturday night to see it in the main event slot. But there is a stipulation here. And this stipulation, well, it's very, very important, because if the Bloodline win, it means Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns for the Undisputed Championship on night 2 of WrestleMania will become Bloodline rules. What is that? It basically means anything the Bloodline say can go will go. But what happens if Cody and Rollins win? It means the Bloodline are banned from ringside. But it's again not as simple as that, because the Bloodline have been banned from ringside before and they don't follow those rules. So who's to know what will happen? Clark, I want to get your take.
Oh, if you've been watching this show long enough, you probably know my thoughts and you may not like them. But here's the scoop when it comes to this one. Here's how it's going to go down, and it's real simple. Cody Rhodes is going to win by a pinfall 1 out of 2 times this weekend. This is that time. It's this time. It's on night 1. Cody Rhodes will pin, whether it's The Rock, Roman Reigns, dead in the middle of the ring, and everyone's going to be so happy on night 1 and so excited and ready to go to night 2. And then you realize that stipulation where they're banned from ringside, like, who would hand down the penalties for that? Oh, yeah, that guy on the board of directors. The Rock would hand down the penalties. That would be the one, wouldn't it? And he interferes anyway. 1, 2, 3, one's up, fireworks, rain of boos. The Boo Birds will be flying in Philadelphia. Night 2, it's not about that though. Night 1, Cody Rhodes, he might hit 1,100 crossroads in this one, but one of them will lead to the finish. I all but guarantee it. And then night 2, that's where it gets real dicey. But night 1, yep, that's how it's going down. He's going to beat the Rock Star and Roman Reigns, have all the momentum headed to night 2, and just not so fast, my friend, there. Have it halted.
I've been thinking, Clark, I've been thinking long and hard today about how I think this is going to go. And I actually don't agree with you, because I think The Rock is going to cost Cody in this tag match. And I do think it'll be some interference on the bloodline or something like that. But I do think ultimately the bloodline will win. I think night 2 is going to be bloodline rules. And I believe we're going to have tons of it's just going to be overbooked. Night 2 will be absolute craziness and everything. But at the end of it, when all is said and done, I believe that The Rock is going to try and screw Roman Reigns in the main event of night 2. And I think he's going to fail, because I think Roman Reigns already has him scouted.
Ooh.
And I think The Rock will be trying to screw Roman, and I think he'll screw Cody instead. And I think coming out of this at SummerSlam, we're going to have Cody versus The Rock. And I think after their feud, Cody is going to lift up The Rock's hand. And I think that's how we have Babyface Rock versus Roman Reigns next year, WrestleMania, because I don't think this reign is done. You can call him the head of the table. You can call him the tribal chief. But ultimately, only one nickname matters, and that is the greatest of all time, because that is what Roman Reigns is, and this reign is going to continue to prove that. And I'm sorry, but Cody, you're losing both nights, pal. Cody crybabies, you can
one
cry
out of 2
yourself
at least.
asleep.
See, look, that's the funniest part is we're on the same page about he's definitely not winning the title, but like I do have him getting the moment night 1.
I think it's too obvious having him win. I think night 1, if he loses, everyone's going to presume he'll win night 2, and when he doesn't, it'll throw everybody off 10 times more. Everybody's presuming bloodline rules. So hey, give it to them. Don't have it be clean, right? Let's not have Cody look like an idiot. Have Cody lose, not clean both nights. Have like I said, night 2, have The Rock accidentally screw him. Not deliberately, but accidentally.
That's where I think night 2, though, given The Rock being the suspender, the guy that can hand down those, he just interferes anyway. He's like, what? Who's going to tell me what to do? I'm on the board. Can't fire me.
It's true. It's true that is certainly one, but I don't know. I think maybe it's a little predictable if you have Cody win night 1, have him lose both nights, have those Cody crybabies cry their way all the way back home, have the stadium flooded from their tears. I don't care.
I love it.
Roman Reigns is the top guy. He's the top guy. Chris Leclerc is saying Cody Rhodes will finish his story. Well, the only thing Cody Rhodes will finish is his career. No, I'm only joking. I do think Cody Rhodes will eventually finish the story, but I don't think it's going to be yet. And I think it's a much larger story. Last year, we were only in the 3rd inning.
Couple more chapters.
This year, I think we're at the start of the 5th. I think we have a little bit of time to go. I really, really do. But when it does happen, Clark, you called MSG. well, I don't think it'll be in MSG, but I do think it'll be in New York. A New York, maybe the MetLife Stadium, something like that for a SummerSlam. I think that's more likely just because I'm not sure if I can see them doing a big event in MSG, even though I don't think it'll be Mania when he loses it. But we'll have to wait and see. But what we won't have to wait and see is what David's prediction is. David, give it to me.
If there are a few more chapters in this story, we can rip up the book and throw it in the bin. First of all,
to be
very, very excited for this match. I think it's very interesting that we're talking about the biggest tag match of all time, biggest Mania tag match of all time. And I think it's just interesting that they've bookended probably the two most important tag matches, arguably in the history of wrestling. Not important, but biggest in terms of power, have come at the first Mania and Mania 40, because you had Hogan and Mr. T versus Piper and Orndorff. That was one of the biggest reasons why Mania 1 was such a big success in the first place. And I think it's interesting we've come full circle with a main event of big, massive stars, but albeit in a very different scenario. I think The Rock is doing phenomenal work right now. I am much more interested in this match than I am in the title match. Because they've built Cody Rock. They've not really built Cody Roman.
fair enough.
But they've built Cody Rock bloody well.
Yeah.
So I am genuinely really excited for this main event. And I do agree that I think the Bloodline will win. I think they'll pin Seth, because I think this is going to be the start of Seth Rollins' no good, very bad 2 nights of Mania. But spoilers for Wednesday's show. But I think this match would be great. I think the fact that The Rock's in a tag match will help protect him with smoke and mirrors. He hasn't got to wrestle one-on-one. He can take time away to catch his breath, because we've seen his in-ring, unless his in-ring cardio has got massively better in the last 10 years, which that's not typically how age works. I think he's going to need some breaks. But I think that they'll do a good job of working around it. I think it'll be a blockbuster tag match. It's just... we'll get to this on Wednesday. I agree with you. It's going to be overbooked. I agree with you. It's going to be overbooked nonsense on with Cody Roman. But I think this should be the downer ending to night 1 to lead to the big triumphant ending of night 2. Because if Cody doesn't win, I will not be responsible for my actions. I won't, and I will talk more hyperbolically about that tomorrow on Wednesday. But
yeah. No, absolutely. I only brought up the night 2 today because I'm not here on Wednesday, because I'm watching Arsenal finish our story to win the Premier League. So that's what I'll be doing. But we do have one last prediction left, and that is from you, Josh. What do you reckon? The biggest tag match, WrestleMania history, will the Bloodline reign supreme, or will Cody and Seth defy the odds?
You know, it's honestly a loaded question for what is just one match. And it's funny because whenever anyone talks about this with me, whenever we talk about it, I always think of something new. I feel like I've never stuck with the same answer these last couple weeks, which is, it's funny. But right now, in my mindset right now, or earlier today when I really thought about it deeply, I mean, you know, we got one hand, the idea of leaving Roman completely on his own without the assistance of his family. Maybe it feels like an appropriate way to write the chapter of his story or finish it. Can he defeat Reigns without Solo or Jimmy? But I don't think that's going to happen personally. You know, I think the Bloodline's going to win the tag match, and I'm going to be on Wednesday's show also, so I'll get into that once we get to Wednesday and that main event. But talking about the tag team match, you know, given the history of WWE and like the legacy of strong baby faces who succeed despite the obstacles, it feels like the Bloodline will win Saturday night, and you know, Cody will be set up with the impossible task of overcoming the rules designed to put him at a disadvantage, designed by The Rock, Roman Reigns, the Bloodline. Regarding the tag match itself, it's gonna be a great match. That should go without being said. I see it as a brutal win for the Bloodline. I don't think it's a squash. I don't think they like really, really dominate. But I think once they defeat Rhodes and Rollins, they continue the fight on Rhodes. The bell is rung. Roman and Rock are just destroying Cody, and that's what I want to see. Even blood. I mean, we saw blood on Raw. We keep seeing the blood references. Make it happen at Mania. There's no better picture than Cody bloody on the mat with Rock and Roman standing tall at the end of night one. Because in my opinion, I know you guys are very strong in Roman winning. I honestly have no idea. I just can't. I don't know who's going to win. I really don't. And that's what's so good about this match.
Yeah.
It seems so predictable, but now that you are saying it's not, then maybe I'm thinking maybe it's not. Maybe it's not as predictable as I thought it was. So it's tough. But I do think that we see, Cody come out Sunday night. He's all wrapped up. He's in pain from last night, and then I think he defies the odds and finishes the story. But that's how I want it to go down. That's how I see it going down. I think that shot of Rock and Roman just destroying Cody at the end of the match would be great, especially after he lost. I think it would be a great story to tell and a great shot at the end of night one for sure.
No, it absolutely would be. I mean, Clark, right? A few months ago, both of us were like hardcore into this. We were like, Cody's not finishing the story.
Nope.
And everyone was like, oh, you guys are delusional.
People don't like me about it.
No, but like not majority of fans still think Cody's going to win. So many fans have flipped this last week now. And it's all these same ones who are having a real go at us a few months ago. I'm telling you, we were right. We called this.
Can I say about the odds?
It's all right. It's all right, Ben.
No.
It's all right.
Can I not?
I've hated your take for a long time. For the past week, I haven't changed anything, my friend. If Cody does not genuinely, if Roman wins at Mania, they may lose. I said this last year, and to be fair, I've been proven mostly right outside of The Rock. I'd say that they completely lost me, and if he wins again, because I know if we go off your scenario, Ben, and we're doing Rock Roman at 41 for the title, so it's not finishing there either. So then you're looking at what the summer of
2025.
Summer at Sam 20. So that's another year and a half.
5 years exactly. Ideally to the day, because I think that's actually possible next year. That Roman Reigns returned.
At SummerSlam.
But why not go all the way? Why not just keep going until it's the 100-year anniversary of Bruno Sammartino's first title reign? Just keep bringing out Roman's, or just keep relinquishing it and passing it on to the next youngest member of the bloodline.
The way I see it is you have Roman go over. And so me and Ben are on the same page on I think Roman goes over at this Mania, but not on the same page on how we follow up. And the way that I've looked at it is, and I always go back to the Garden theory, but with the new Netflix deal, I still stick with that. That is such a huge thing, like the world's most famous arena, and it's exactly where it happened to Dusty. So if you have him get messed around by a guy as big as The Rock, then you can have Cody Rock at this SummerSlam. You can solve that now and Roman along the way. And then in the fall season TV prime time, as you know, David, as well as anybody, when it comes to that first time on streaming, you do this at the Garden, that reaction and the amount of fans you'll have on Netflix, even as opposed to Peacock, arguably is going to be a larger audience.
Oh, it's not arguable. It will be massively.
It will be a larger audience.
Yeah.
And that's the only caveat I see, because I totally hear where you're coming from. And as much as I come across as like, oh, I'm anti-Cody, I like to make jokes about the tie clips. It's funny to me. I like to make jokes about Cody being a little bit corny because he's a super baby face. And I'm in my 30s and I grew up in the Attitude Era. But I do want him to finish the story out. I want everyone to know that, but that's all I got. Yeah.
We can finish the story, but let's Roman tell his first. But guys, on that note, we are coming to the end of the show. Thank you to Josh, thank you to Clark, thank you to David. We'll be back an hour later tomorrow for the Raw review. Shard's hosting it. It's gonna be a fun one, that is for sure. And I'll see you guys on Thursday. And also tomorrow, I'll be posting our WrestleMania week schedule on Instagram and all the platforms as well. So you guys will know when we're live and when we're not. We will see you guys tomorrow. Pa, pa, pa!